see you, nurse.
I want to move.
Give me just 1 second. My computer restarted, needed to update. Somebody ought to talk to somebody about that.
Was it Dr. J?
I waved to him when I came in, but
Dr. J?
I thought it was
How you doing, Fred? How you doing? I'm good, man. You doing all right? I just forwarded to you.
okay. Good.
February 27th. 6th. Before you leave. Come here. For me? For you? Catch them. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let's call to order the regular board meeting of the Tuscaloosa City Schools for January 19th, 2021. If we can have a period of silence, and we will follow that by the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's just please tonight keep all of our nation's leaders and also all of the sick people suffering in our country in your thoughts and prayers. Attention, salute the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated. Okay, before we begin this agenda, I would like to wish a somewhat belated happy birthday to our colleague, Mr. Erskine Simmons, who celebrated yesterday. So happy birthday, Mr. Simmons. Thank you, I appreciate it. Please, no money donations.
No singing.
No.
He's requested no singing.
No.
Okay.
We do have a switch now.
Item number 3, board may I have a motion to adopt the regular board meeting agenda.
Motion to adopt. Second motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That'll be approved. Item number 4, approve the minutes of the December 15th, 2020 regular board meeting, the minutes of the December 17th, 2020 virtual emergency called board meeting, the minutes of the January 12th, 2021 board work session, and minutes of the January 14, 2021 virtual called board meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion, we have a second by Mr. Hamner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes will be approved. Item number 5, Superintendent's Virtual Art Show. Good evening, Dr. Schultz.
Good evening, school board.
Good
It's
evening.
a pleasure to see you and see you all doing well. We are here to celebrate our Superintendent's Art Show for 2021. Normally by this time we would have had a big gallery gathering downtown with cookies and punch, but this year, of course, dictates things are done differently. I do think it's just so important that we get an opportunity to celebrate. As we all know, life continues to move forward, and some of the same things, the histories and traditions that we've been following, they just continue to come right along with it. So that's what we're here for tonight, is the Superintendent's Art Show. And the first thing I'd like to do is, I always tell Dr. Darriott that it's his art show. So would you like to say a few words before we get going?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Schultz. The art show every year is really one of, I think, our favorite events, where you really get to see the work of our students on display. The finalists that you see behind you are the pieces that are moving forward, and you cannot help but to look at this work and see the creativity, the critical thinking, and the complex thinking that goes into producing art like this. And it just speaks volumes of how important this board and this school system value arts in education, and that arts are more than just an elective, they're part of the overall education for the Tuscaloosa City School students. And that is so important, and I think we're all just so proud to be in a community and in a school system that values arts the way this board does. You see it in the budget of this school system. There is a large allocation of our budget to support the arts, and board members, we just say with great pride, you look at this artwork that is produced in our schools, it's amazing. And we can't talk about the talent of our students without also talking about the talent of the educators that support them. And we have an amazing cast of talented art teachers who inspire our students, who provoke thought, and who teach our students how to produce art like the ones you see behind you. We could not be any prouder as a school system for this to happen, and especially, to Dr. Schultz's points, this is happening this year in spite of this pandemic. Our art teachers, our educators, they're not slowing down, their expectations aren't changing, and our students are still thriving, and it is just really, really amazing. Dr. Schultz, thank you.
Thank you very much. A quick word about the way that the art show works. This is a local version of the State Arts Council and Superintendent's Art Show. So Dr. Mackey is about to have his own art show featuring winners from across all of the different school systems in the state. And the works that you see behind you advance in 2 categories, elementary, which is K-6, and then secondary, which is 7-12. Either traditional media or also digital media, 2 different categories. So we'll be highlighting those as we go through. I did want to take a moment to say, since this is an art show and it is adjudicated, every year we take a moment to, I keep skipping past the one, there we go. We take a moment to acknowledge our judge. Daniel White's a very important community partner for us. He works with the university as a museum curator for the Paul R. Jones Museum, in which we have many partnerships, and also the University Gallery at the Dinah Washington Cultural Arts Center. We have used his space for our Tuscaloosa Can events, and our students are able to go in there, of course, always, and enjoy the art. So Daniel White did an excellent job. It's his first time to judge for us, and he certainly wishes all the best to the students moving on. So there are 10 students in the elementary category and 10 in the secondary category, and we'll just take a look at their works. The one on the left is a digital image. The one on the right is drawn with oil pastel. So that's actually white paper and then black oil pastel that creates the illusion of the skeletal hand. These are in the elementary category. The one on the left is a digital image, and the one on the right, of course, hand-drawn. You see here an elementary and a secondary entry. A very complete vegetable garden, and I'd like to really point out the positive space chair drawing. The idea here is that from a white piece of paper using black ink, you can create the illusion that the chair is floating off of the page. And the artist here has done an incredible job with that. Some pop art. Keith Haring is an artist that makes images, and the focus on the left there is of creating images of movement. Collage on the right. Both of these are paintings, one high school, one elementary. You have a photograph on the right, the image on the left. I think the longer that you can look at that, the more you'll see. Elementary and secondary entry. These elementary entries. Interestingly, the 5th grade entry on the left is a digital image and likely created on Chromebook. Lots of these images as well were photographed by students who created the artwork at home, took a picture with their Chromebook, and then submitted it. It's an interesting way to collect art, but very, very, very fascinating. So these images come from all of the different clusters. This is all of the student work that came in from which the winners were selected. And I think what's really neat is to look at this across our clusters, and you'll see that the quality exists everywhere. It's not just in one school or in one grade level, but we do have a comprehensive visual art program, K-12, and I think that you see the results here. There's this Eastern cluster, Western cluster, Northern cluster, absolutely astounding talent in our students. So it's such a pleasure to be able to bring this work to you tonight. I'm sorry that we are unable to show this in a large public venue. If you do find yourself at the Board of Education, these works will be hanging in the Superintendent's Gallery later this month. And I hope that you'll get a chance to come and take a look a little bit deeper. None of this would be possible, as Dr. Daria said, without the educators in our school system dedicated to teaching students these creative capacities. I think this is, the ask of the teachers was, please send a selfie, take a selfie. And I think what's so striking to me is the difference between men and women, boys and girls in this photo. We're going to have to work with those boys on trying to put a little smile together. I'd like to point out two people who were instrumental in helping us get this together, actually three. In the top row, second one from the right, Carissa Franklin works at Bryant High School and helped put the slideshow background together as well as a lot of the layout. Karen Kennedy, who's in the second row, third from the left, she teaches at Central High School and is our gallery director at the Superintendent's Gallery and really collaborated with Carissa to pull this together. And right next to her in the polka dot mouse ears and also the red glasses, that's Diane Robbins. And I want to introduce her to you in just a moment as a way to say thank you. So the educators here, very, very dedicated and extremely talented, as you can see. The outcomes they're getting with their students is off the charts. Before we get into that, just a quick reminder. Arts and education, we're approaching nearly 90 years of having the arts in schools in Tuscaloosa City, and that's really remarkable. 100 years is right around the corner, and it probably existed longer than that. Just we know that the dates exist here based on old yearbooks in the archive. Arts and education has been important and a crowning jewel for our school system for many years, and it's definitely a long-term investment. And having said that, I think it's always important to talk about why we do it. The why changes because the arts stay, but the needs are different. And the arts usually create their own ability to meet the needs of what is leading the ask from society in schools. And so right now, it's about developing creative capacities to succeed in school and work. And we've talked about these things before. But to me, the real reason is when you look at the faces of the children who get to experience art, I hope you see what I see, which is immense joy and pride in their work, in a finished product, in persevering and problem solving to make a product look finished. It's a thing of beauty. This is why I do what I do, and I certainly think that we need more of this in our world today. So having said that, I want to take a minute to say thank you, and first I'm going to read a little thank you card from one of our art teachers, and it's written to one of you, or to all of you, but I just have one copy. So it says, "Thank you so much for your supporting the arts. The students really enjoyed learning about pop art this week, and I'm blessed to work for Tuscaloosa City Schools." And that's from Diane Robbins with the polka dot ears. The thank you cards that are on your table were created in her art classes with her art instruction, and given to you from Arcadia and University Place. And I also want to give credit to Gladys Wright, who had the idea of, please write some thank you cards to the board members in art class. And then she executed this also at University Place, where she's placed. Also turned in with that is a card from a teacher that says, "Dear Tuscaloosa City Schools Board, please enjoy these cards of thanks from my bright first grade students. We all appreciate your hard work. Keep being awesome and come visit us sometime," with a big exclamation point and a smiley face. And that's from Mrs. Allen, a first grade teacher at Arcadia. So they are very grateful, but I also want to make sure that you understand that we're very grateful and why. I thank each and every one of you for upholding the vision, not just your own vision for what we would do in this school system, but for the decades and decades and decades of other visions that have come before you that have allowed these programs to prosper and grow. So thank you very much for upholding that vision. Thank you for your continued support. We feel it and we love it, and we really, really love you too. So thank you very much for that. On behalf of students and for what it does for our students, thank you. They need it now more than ever.
Dr. Schultz.
And so does our future. More than ever, the arts help heal, they help children express themselves, and they help develop creativity and excellent problem-solving skills that they're going to need navigating into the future. So from the bottom of my heart, from all of my teachers, all of our students, thank you so much, school board. Thank you for your support.
Dr. Schultz.
Yes, sir.
No, thank you for your excellence and what you bring to this system, your passion, your integrity. It's just amazing. Dr. Daria, growing up with a mother who is an accomplished artist, a grandmother who is an accomplished artist, thank you for making this part of the culture of TCS. I echo everything that Dr. Schultz said and how important the arts are to the fundamental character of not only a society but these children. So thank you for making that such a cornerstone of what TCS gives, and thank you to these board members for making it a priority and keeping it a priority. You know, COVID has robbed us of a lot, but selfishly it's robbed us of a chance to celebrate this on a night when it's so fun to celebrate these children and their amazing work. So Dr. Schultz, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for continuing to do such excellent work and for being here tonight to share it with us, because it does mean the world to all of us here. So thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to all of our students.
And Dr. Schultz, I would be remiss in saying that we do a lot of just mundane, tedious stuff up here on a week in and week out basis, and this is like a shining star. Not that our other work is not important, but this, I think, is why most of us are here, and it certainly brightens our meeting and gives us true sense of purpose for being here, and that's the children. So thank you again. Okay, item number 6, recognize United Way Top Student Drive winners. Dr. Sherrod, good evening.
Good evening. Even though I have my mask on. Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Not only are we creating a culture of excellence in the area of arts, we're also creating a culture with our children of giving back and helping others. Even in the midst of a pandemic, we had 100% of our schools to participate in this year's United Way. And with that, our students raised $11,226.56, even in the midst of a pandemic. So let's give our students another round of applause. This is another one of the fun events where we have an opportunity to bring our students in, but we were unable to do that. But because of the wonderful staff that we have with technology, as well as with the schools, each school did a presentation and we shared it via our YouTube channel. So tonight what you're going to see the top 3 schools. The third place was Southview Elementary, and they raised $1,106. That's Southview Elementary School. University Place Elementary School, which in second place, and they raised $1,400. And our top winner this year is Northridge High School, and they raised $1,452.43. So at this time, we would just like you to just sit back and just look at the top 3 schools.
This year we have raised money for United Way by having a hat day, popcorn day, and pajama day. We raise this money for the community to show them that we care.
This youth has raised over $1,000 for the United Way.
We live united!
All right.
And we all attend school at University Place. My name is Cameron Brown and I'm in 3rd grade.
My name is Ed Turner and I'm in 3rd grade. My name is Dominic Ransom and I am in 3rd grade.
We raised a total of $1,400.
For Head Day, we put $1 to wear our favorite hat.
For Jeans Day, we bought the teachers bought $10 to wear their favorite jeans. But for the Rice Day, we all bought $1 to bring our favorite device.
For Snack Day, we brought $1 to eat our favorite snack.
We bought the dollar to wear our favorite. We bought $1 to wear our favorite pajamas. We think it is good to give back because everybody can have a better life.
Hi, my name is Thomas Harper, and I think it's important to give back to my community because I just love my community so much. Hi, my name is Corey Blossom, and I love to give back to my community because I love to see people happy.
Hi, my name is Diana Gardner, and I think it's important to give back because I like to help those less fortunate than me.
We are Northwest High School. We live united.
So again, we do appreciate our students and our staff, as well as our principals, for pushing us to the next level as far as it relates to our United Way Drive. Again, this beautiful plaque will hang in Northridge High School's office for 1 year until we do our competition on next year. So again, thank you.
Dr. Sherrod, so tonight is just filled with a lot of awesome nuggets for us, and I know the City of Tuscaloosa United Way campaign is winding down, but what a great way to connect the two and for our kids to learn that giving back is so important to this community, for all of us to learn that important lesson. So Dr. Sherrod, thank you, and if you'll please extend the board's congratulations to the winners. Okay, item number 7, recognize Ms. McKelvey as Class Secretary of the Year recipient. Dr. Daria.
Yes, sir. Board members, thank you again for allowing us this much time in a board meeting to recognize so many excellent programs, students, and people. Ms. McKelvey, and I'm going to ask her to walk to the podium if she will while I say a couple words about her. I'm going to try to not embarrass her too much because this is not necessarily what I think she enjoys a lot, but just a couple words about Ms. McKelvey. She is at Eastwood Middle School. She was nominated by Mr. Hines for Secretary of the Year, and Mr. Hines' submission was given to class, and she was named the Secretary of the Year for our region. But more importantly than the class recognition, Ms. McKelvey represents this school system. She represents this school system with this strong customer service, take care of people ethic. She's meticulous in what she does. The work she does goes right to the funding of our school system because she's meticulous about her roles and responsibility, especially with student attendance and enrollment. She is the person, when you open that door, she greets you with strong belonging. She wants you to be there. She enjoys having people in that office. She takes care of our educators. She takes care of our students. Her day, like the day of every school secretary, is filled with so many interactions and so many decisions. And Ms. McKelvey does it with grace. She does it with a smile. I've never seen her frustrated or mad. And Ms. McKelvey, you may get there. I just have never seen it. I have only seen a smile and a great appreciation for and love for what she does, taking care of people and taking care of young people. And the recognition by class is certainly warranted. And I say this too, certainly to Ms. McKelvey, but she represents the many fine individuals who do the same work in all of our schools. But we are certainly proud that Ms. McKelvey was nominated by Mr. Hines and recognized by the State Organization of Class for her work. So Ms. McKelvey, board members, we just thank you for allowing us to celebrate Ms. McKelvey here today for this recognition. If you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you to just say a couple of words, and then I'll turn it back to Mr. Wilson and Ms. Grant.
Well, I'm very honored to represent Tuscaloosa City Schools. We moved here 6 years ago, but this is actually my 27th year. So I enjoy it. I love the people. Miss Erica over here, she's one of my parents. But I think it just takes loving what you do and giving that back to others. I love the kids. I told Dr. Daria this. They walked in. I had no idea. I was at the conference and had no idea this was happening. And he came in and I said, "Am I getting fired or something?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, am I getting a raise?" No. But it was just an honor to have him there and take time out of his day too to recognize us. Because secretaries do a lot of work. We're like, our hands are in every pot in that school. So it's great to be recognized, and I appreciate it from the city, Tuscaloosa City Schools, and the board members as well. Thank you very much.
Ms. McKelvey.
Ms. McKelvey.
Ms. McKelvey, hold on one second.
Ms. McKelvey. I would just like to tell everyone, I've been with you many years. And you see, she called me Miss Erica because that's our relationship. At first, we was, a little rocky, but guess why? It was because she was only doing her job. This before I even got on the board. And I'm just like, you just seen MJ with Trey. Can't he pick him, up? She was just like, no. And that was years ago. But even being on the board, she was like, Miss Grant, I need you to fill out this form and make sure XYZ is done. And for that, I appreciate her because she is not that secretary that let nothing slide by. And all of our secretaries, do a wonderful job. They have a big job. We don't understand how much work you have to do. But I appreciate you keeping our schools safe, because if you are not on the list, guess what? You can't get them. And she's just like, Miss Grant, I'm sorry. Can you call? And she was just like, well, that's just her. And I appreciate that because that what helps keep our school together. Erskine can say he going to pick my child up all day. Erskine, I'm sorry, you're not on the child list, and she's not going to let them go. So thank you for loving our children that much. I appreciate you.
And Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. McKelvey is here and here supporting Ms. McKelvey, and we just thank him for the support that he provides so that Ms. McKelvey can do this work with such commitment and such care and passion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And Dr. Derry, I'll echo what Ms. Grant said. Ms. McKelvey, thank you for being excellent and for loving TCS and your students. TCS is where we are because of people like you and the excellence that you demonstrate on a day in and day out basis. So on behalf of the entire board, congratulations to a well-deserved honor, and thank you for everything that you do for us. Okay, item number 8, I did not approve this agenda item, so I will let Dr. Derry announce this agenda item.
Yes, sir. Since we are recognizing excellence in the Tuscaloosa City Schools, it is only fitting that we recognize the governing body of the Tuscaloosa City Schools. January is Board Member Recognition Month, but the recognition is not just because it is January and named in honor to recognize our board members. But board members, you've heard us say this before, and we mean it. People I don't think fully understand what it takes to be so invested as a board member. Not only the time it takes to sit on this board and lead this school system, but the amount of learning and the amount of commitment that you've got to make informed decisions and to really participate in leading the school system. I am proud to be part of this school system. I am proud to serve alongside this board because of the values that you bring as a Board of Education. You look at the budget that you all approve every year. That budget reflects your collective values. You look at our strategic plan, it reflects your collective values. And this board, the 8 individuals individually and the collective board have done so much to advance the Tuscaloosa City Schools. You all have set a culture of excellence in our school system. You've done that through the way you operate as a board, the policies that you set as a board, the support that you provide for the educators in the Tuscaloosa City Schools is beyond amazing. Dr. Schultz just talked, and he's just one example of the support that I think our employees feel so they can do the work that matters the most. And this Board of Education, I say to you on behalf of the educators, the 1,500 employees of our school system, and our 11,000 students and our parents, thank you. Thank you for serving the way you do. Thank you for serving with such big hearts, such amazing compassion, and such commitment. You all have been extremely invested, and this month is a month just to say thank you for what you are doing and what you have done and what you are still to do in our future. We do have two individuals who are here just to give some comments of appreciation as well. Dr. Amy Elam is here speaking on behalf of our leadership group, and Dr. Terry Bowman is here. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Elam. Dr. Elam.
I'm not used to that yet, so I'm excited about it. Good evening, board. It's so nice to be here tonight with each of you. And I have something that I would like to read to each of you, but I just want you to know from a personal standpoint, I stand before you as a daughter of a retired superintendent and a retired board member. So I know what your job is and what it means. And I know that the love and the compassion that you pour out to students, I've seen that personally firsthand from a family member, but I see that from each of you all the time. And I am so grateful to be a part of a district that I see, and a board that's engaged and that's active and involved in our schools, and just the love that you share with our students and the thoughtfulness that you put into the decisions that you make. And so I've been on the daughter of seeing what you have to go through on a regular basis, and so I just thank you from a personal standpoint, because I know what it takes away from your family as well, and the fact that you're willing to serve and do this for our families that we love so much and our students of our schools. I just want to thank you personally from that, because I know what this does to your family, and we appreciate the fact that you're willing to give back to TCS. But on behalf of all the principals, I just want to say, you know, what a year it has been. It's one like none other. But you all as a board are one like none other. And each of you pour your heart and soul into making this great district what it is, and we appreciate that. You've had to make decisions this year that none of us would ever think that you'd ever even be faced with making. And I just think about some of the decisions that you've had to make this year, and the thought and just the agony that you've had to put into it, because no decision is always right. And so just the fact that you all have come together to make sure that you're making the best decisions for the TCS students and for our faculties and for our staff, we appreciate that so much, because we always know that the students are your number one priority, and that always shows. And there's never a doubt in the principal's minds when you're making decisions that those decisions are what's best for TCS students. And although this is just a small gesture, we could never really truly let you know how much we appreciate you. But we just want to honor you tonight with this small token of appreciation. Each school, like we've done in the past, we've decided to purchase library books and put a plaque with each of your name in it, so that children for many years to come in our schools will be able to enjoy these books, and we'll be able to honor you in that way. And on behalf of every school principal, we would just like to thank you for your continued support and your leadership, because we know that TCS is great because of the leadership and what you provide for each of our students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Dr. Elam. While Dr. Elam is passing those out, we'll call Dr. Bowman to the podium. Dr. Bowman is with the Tuscaloosa Education Foundation. Dr. Bowman.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Daria and board members and TCS leaders for this opportunity to speak to you tonight. One of my favorite quotes is from Dr. Stephen Covey, and he says that leadership is communicating to people their worth and their potential so clearly that they come to see it in themselves. I truly believe that in your kindness to each other, in your struggle to do what's best for children, in your deliberative decision-making, you're communicating to the children in our community their worth and potential. On this January evening, we celebrate you. This is a small token of our appreciation for your intentional leadership, your support, and your devotion to the children of the Tuscaloosa community. Thank you, and let your leadership communicate what you see in others so clearly that they come to see it within themselves. We just want to say a huge thank you. Y'all are just so important to the process of education, and I could not echo Dr. Elam and Dr. Daria more. I really didn't need to say anything because they said it all. But we do appreciate your hard work and what you do for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Daria, thank you
so much for the kind words, and Dr. Elam and Ms. Bowman, thank you. I will just say that I've never met 7 finer people, and I'm super proud to serve alongside these wonderful people who have hearts bigger than this state alone. And I must say that y'all are each doing a fine job representing your district and the system, and I'm just proud to know each and every one of you. So thank you. Item number 9, public comments, of which there are none, which brings us to item 10, informational reports from the superintendent and executive staff. 10A is receive report on TCS and City of Tuscaloosa meeting. Dr. Daria?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Board members, I'm going to this is just information, and I'm going to actually hand it back to Mr. Wilson and Mr. Lucas for additional information. But we are fortunate to be a school system very well supported by our city. Part of that support certainly is in resources. Our city supports us with an allocation each year, plus Elevate, plus a lot of support with Tuscaloosa Police Department. And it's important each year just to kind of revisit that. And we did get a chance to sit down with the mayor and just look at where that allocation is and have discussions about it relative to the progress of our city and the progress of our school system. Mr. Lucas, Mr. Wilson, if you guys want to add anything to that conversation, to that.
I'll let Mr. Lucas shoulder most of the burden on this one, but I will say that, guys, we've got some potential down the road that we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We do need to continue to press on the city, and so certainly COVID has set us back. It's set the city back. It unfortunately has set everyone back, especially Tuscaloosa, with us being so dependent on people coming into our city for football. But just start thinking of things that maybe we can do with our elected representatives and city council members, and pressing them for more and more help. They are great to us, but certainly we feel like we deserve more. So start maybe thinking of little things that we can do to start getting more funds for the types of projects and programs that TCS needs to put forward, and that our children and educators deserve to put forward. Obviously, all that takes money, and I think we're just going to have to start thinking outside the box these next 4 years.
That takes me back to, you want to go ahead. That takes me back to, yeah. But if I wasn't, I'm going to say something though. But if you remember we was had planned meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, that goes back to what you're saying, Eric, that we keep, when the next planned meeting, we keep those meetings. Yeah, it's the same schedule about, pressing them about different things, but keeping those meetings with city council, because when COVID has popped off and we canceled that last meeting, they said we need to have a meeting in June, they canceled it in January. We didn't get to have a meeting, and that was something that needed to be, to prepare for things that may happen, and how they can help us. So I think the first thing is, yeah, we press them, but we sit down and talk as two different entities, two different governments, and come together about this situation. We definitely need to sit down. We don't need to counsel it. Nobody's that busy to not have a meeting, or to put it off for a whole month. And not to meet in the summertime, because we off in the summertime. We come to our meetings, but why meet in the summertime when we can meet during the 9 months that school is in? Go, Marvin.
Yeah, I just want to add to, it was a real good meeting, but we have to look too at the things that we do good, because when you look at areas and ways you want to make improvements, we have to show our shining light. So we have to be able to express those things, but we also have to express the things that we can do to continually improve our system. That's going to be important for us as board members to look at that, and maybe when we have our strategic planning meetings and stuff and start talking, look at ways of what could we do to improve. When Dr. Schultz was up, I was thinking a little while ago, I wasn't going to say anything, but about 23 years ago at Central High School, the system was going through proration. And one of the things that was up on the agenda to get rid of was the arts in the city of Tuscaloosa. And I can remember that day so well because Victoria was in a car seat. I was married, and I had 4 other kids. And so all 5 of us and the wife, we stood up in Central High School talking about the importance of keeping the arts in our system. And it's the special things that we do along with the city of Tuscaloosa that allow us to be able to have, I'm gonna drop this for a second, to allow us to have extra units over and above to be successful to keep programs like that. All of the unique and special things about our system are because we have those extra luxuries from working along with the city. And we just have to look at ways we can improve it. You know, if we are like a lot of other school systems, when things got tight, the first thing they cut is the things like the arts and some of the music programs. But we have lived on these luxuries, and we have to figure out ways and come up with more creative ways on how we can make sure that these things maintain and keep making our system a unique and different from other school systems.
And along those lines with Mr. Lucas and Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Grant, as Chairman Wilson talked about coming up with things that the board needs to talk with the city, and Ms. Grant said making sure that the meetings between the city council and the school board are continuously done. I believe that what would make that meeting even stronger is that when we would, as a board, express certain specifics, needs that the school system needs, that the city can be able to help. Because I believe that so goes the school system, so goes the city. And I believe that when there's a great collaboration between the school system and the city, then we will have a great Tuscaloosa. We have to create that collaboration. We have, even when it comes to down this Martin Luther King Jr. highway, even Dr. Derry and I was talking today about opportunities to connect the dots and to keep collaborations going within our system and our city. And so I believe, Mr. Wilson, what you're saying is dead on. Coming with specifics and planning and being persistent, I believe that whatever TCS needs, TCS will get.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to just add a couple of quick things. We're featuring here tonight arts and education. These works should be displayed at a city hall meeting. They should be down there front and center, so as the people come in for whatever reason, they can see the works and they can know specifically that these were provided by our students. It shows them what our students are doing and working on, even if it means bringing our strings program into their halls every now and then to perform just simply right before a meeting or something of that nature for a few moments as the citizens are walking in and out of the buildings, that type of thing. I think we should be able to incorporate some of those type of things to showcase the talents of our young people, and that will allow them to really see and grasp the magnitude of how brilliant our students are, how brilliant our educators are, and how wonderful it is to be a part of this system. So those kind of things that we need to just sort of work on incorporation and moving forward. That'll bridge a couple of those gaps, because they're not familiar with what's going on by a long shot. And it was fortunate enough to have enough of them at the ribbon cutting ceremony for MLK. And for me, it was simply because it's an election cycle coming up. And it's very unfortunate that they will want to pop up for those type of specifics because of the name and notoriety. Now, granted, that may not be true in all cases, but I can't help but feel that if this was not an election year, would they be there? So there's a disconnect there, and we're going to continue to reach out to them, and we're not going to waver on that because this is so important to our children and our community. Thank you.
One more thing. Ms. House always take her time out to, plan. She calls everyone. Can you be here? Can you do this? So, moving forward, we're not going to keep talking about the past, but thank you, Ms. House, for all you do in planning us to be together. And last year, I was so mad when it was canceled again for like the third time for the city council and the school board to get together after you had worked hard and we had set our schedules. Everybody's time is important. And to echo on what you're saying, it is election time. And if we electing people to sit in seats, they need to know that it comes along with you gonna sit. If we gotta meet and sit 2 and 3 hours to discuss how the city school system and the city council can partner for the better of Tuscaloosa and our students, which are most important, and our educators, that's what we need to do. And so moving forward, I know you all will get together on, reaching out to them, especially now. We reach out to them now, we definitely can get everybody to sit down and have a meeting.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Daria. Item 10B, receive financial reports for November 1, 2020 through November 30th, 2020. Mr. Duke, good evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. If it's okay, I'm going to pull the mask down. I'd like to bring to you the November financial report, which encompasses both October and November, the first 2 months of our fiscal year. This is the FY21 fiscal year. Sales tax revenues are good this month and are up year over year after 2 months. Property tax collections have picked up after a slow start that we saw back in October. Vehicle tax collections are up again this month and recorded the best number in 58 months. A general fund summary recap is included with this report, and then next month's February, the second meeting in February, we will take an in-depth look at CMP. But to dive a little bit deeper into the numbers briefly, sales tax, you'll see there is after 2 months again is up year over year. That's great, and again a little surprising, but a pleasant surprise. Our budget for this year is $18.2 million. If we stay on track, I know it's only 2 months, but if we were to stay on track, we would finish above that number. So sales tax so far so good after 2 months. Property tax started off slow. On property tax, don't get too caught up in any one particular month. It's a year cycle, and usually it levels out. As you can see in past years, you have somewhat of a spike or low month, but it usually adjusts itself out. So right now, we're in good shape on property tax, and we're close to the same level that we were this time last year. Car tags, although the number is smaller, this is an impressive number. This is the best month again in 58 months. That's back in January of 2016. I think that's a great sign for this economy in West Alabama, Tuscaloosa County in particular, and I hope that trend continues. Here's our general fund monthly report of revenues and expenditures. Revenues are in good shape, tracking a little above schedule. Our target after 2 months is 16.7%, so you'll see there revenues are about 17.12%, so they're a little above where they were expected to be. That's good. And then if you'll see there in the expenditures, all categories are below 16.7%. That is great to see. We are tracking and managed every area to make sure that it's where it should be, and they're all below expectations. Again, the COVID closure, I know you probably get tired of me saying that, but it's helped us out financially in that respect. Not that we wanted it, but it has lowered some expenditures. The next page there, I just simply took the 2 months of 2018, October, November, 19 and 20. The bar there is revenues and the red line is expenditures, and you can see that they're both trending better. That is a great sign. I will pause there and ask Mr. Chairman, board members, I'll be glad to take any questions.
Questions for Mr. Dew?
No, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Duke, it goes without saying that you and your staff are doing a fine job, and it should not go without repeating that we're proud of the work that you're doing, and certainly we appreciate you staying so on top of.
We have a great staff.
Yes,
Thank you for those kind words.
Yes, sir. Okay, item number 9, introduction of motions, resolutions for first reading. 11A, discuss, approve revising parent-student code of conduct resource guide to add omitted student device responsibility agreement language. Dr. Sherrod?
Good evening, board members again. Mr. Jinks and I will present this together, but basically, when we presented this back in September, we omitted a portion in reference to the loss and damage when, with our students with our devices. But just want to let you know, since that time, and as part of this, of the insurance policy, it also removes a barrier for us because it lowers the financial barriers to our participants with our one-to-one program. And it also assists us with the repairs as well as the logistics for replacement of items. Traditionally, in the past, when students damaged devices, it was a cost for the full item the first time. And it's no longer that because of the insurance policy that we have. And we did not spell this out in the first document. So we just wanted to make sure that we had all of this information so that we could make sure it's there for our students in the second semester. Are there, and oh yes, and we are requesting a waive for a second reading so that we can begin with the second semester. Are there any questions?
Okay, board, no questions for Dr. Sherrod. Does anybody want to make a motion to waive the second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of waiving the second reading?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, board, may I have a motion to approve this provision of the Student Code of Conduct?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That will be approved. Thank you, Dr. Sherrod.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, item number 12 is the consent agenda items. There is 12A and 12B. Board, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 12A and 12B?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Those will be approved. Item 13, regular agenda items for final adoption. 13A, approve superintendent's recommendation regarding changes in personnel. Dr. Cameron, good evening, sir.
Good evening. You have the superintendent's recommendations regarding changes in personnel. You also have the supplemental list. I will go through both lists with you. Starting on page 1, you have 4 retirements, 1 termination of a probationary support employee, 1 deceased, 5 resignations, 2 declinations, 1 request for a leave of absence, 1 new support personnel, 5 new certified personnel, 1 2020-21 athletic supplement removal, 3 2020-21 athletic supplement, 2 2020-21 fall semester mentor-mentee supplement, 1 supplement for teaching a class during the planning period, and 19 part-time extended day tutors, which carries you to the supplemental list. You have 1 resignation, 1 new certified personnel, and 1 new support personnel.
Okay, board, before I take a motion, Dr. Cameron, did you say 3 or 5 new certified personnel?
On page 2?
Yes, sir.
3, I'm sorry, if I said 5, I apologize.
Making sure
3
I
new
wasn't
certified personnel.
Okay, board, are there any set-asides for a separate vote and discussion by number only?
Number 6.
Number 6. Any other set-asides? Okay, board, accepting number 6, may I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, discussion by number only, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Those will be approved. Board may have a motion to approve number 6.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, discussion?
Dr. Cameron, I just wanted to set this person aside because of the fact that this person has given so much of their time, their talent, their treasure, and her life to educating children. And now that she sleepeth with the angels, I think that we as a board will continue to keep that family lifted up in our prayers, and all families who have had loss during this time.
Yes, sir, she will be truly missed.
Reverend Wilson, thank you for your kind words.
Thank you, sir.
Well said. Board may call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That'll be approved. Thank you, Dr. Cameron.
Yes, sir.
Item 13B, discuss approve extension of FFCRA leave. Dr. Cameron.
Yes, sir. This is the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, which ended December 31st, 2020. However, the federal government is allowing employers to extend this leave until March 31st, 2021. Under the FFCRA, full-time employees are allotted 80 hours of paid sick leave or 12 weeks of the expanded family and FMLA if they have not already used it. We consulted with Mr. Ryan on this as well, and we're asking for this extension for our for us and for our employees until March 31st, 2021.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Cameron. Board may have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion and we have a second. Any questions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That will be approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Does any board member have any unfinished business? Item 15, does any board member have any announcements? It looks like Ms. House has told us currently there are no students on the January 26th student hearing meeting. You'll just keep us posted as to whether that needs to be canceled or not. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, board retreat currently set for January 29th, 2021, so please put that in your on your calendar. Without anything further, we will stand adjourned.
Thank you for all the great teachers that teach us each and every day. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for this whole building and everything in it, the teachers, the staff, and our very good counselors.
Thank you for making sure we are safe. Thank you for making sure we have everything we need on a daily basis. And making sure we're being safe during school days. And thank you for letting us come to school. I want to say thank you for helping us with all the supplies we need and hoping I spread the virus and make sure everyone's safe.
Thank you for all the supplies that I gave us to help around the school.
Eric, come get this bag out my phone.
And thanks for keeping us safe.
We
like to thank our board members for everything they do.
We'd like to thank our board members for everything they do. We love learning renovations.
Board members, we'd like to thank you for our awesome teachers and our new technology.
Board members, we would like to thank you for keeping us safe with our awesome security team.
Thank you for our technology and tools for our learning.
Thank you for all the arts. Thank you for safe schools.
Thank you for math and PE.
Thank you for helping me learn safely. Thank you for providing us with awesome technology. Thank you for giving us so many amazing library books and online libraries. Thank you for giving us great classes and great teachers.
Hey, I was just making sure my eyes were not deceiving me.
My school community appreciates all that you have done to keep us safe. Thank you again.
Hey, look, it was not meant to embarrass. I was just like, what, was it like, did I miss a page or something? Hey, I was just making sure you didn't put my resignation on there.